Hey everybody. Look, I had it last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago. Nailed the transition then, but this week was a little bit meh. So glad to be with you all tonight. And I think our show topic is appropriate because Tanya is not here and she will be here next week is normal to talk all things Virgin Voyages and her experience on the Scarlet Lady. I was chatting with her a little bit over FaceTime earlier and got a little bit of a snippet of some of the things they've experienced and have seen a few pictures and things along the way. So, looking forward to hearing about that. So, our question of the day is not where's Tanya? It's our show topic. So just for funsies, because that's the extent of my creativity right now. But our question today is actually this: um, Tanya loves talking about food. Doing this one in her honor. But what is your favorite holiday food? Not just like Disney treat or not just and I'm not talking like just like candy canes or whatever. But if it's something that you have around the holiday season, usually and it's something that's dear to you that you love that you only get around the holidays. What is your favorite holiday food? What is it? Candy, dessert, doesn't matter. Mine are very specific. Are holiday mint M&Ms. Holiday mint M&Ms. Now, M&M makes a dark chocolate like mint M&M that you can get almost year round, but the holiday mint M&Ms you can only get year round, or no, you can only get seasonally, like in grocery stores, Walmart, Publix, Kroger, stuff like that. But you could also get them in the M&M stores down at places like Disney Springs as well. So they're just, I don't know, something about them. Absolutely love them. One of my favorite things. I usually go. years ago they had like 16-ounce bags of these things, and would go into Kroger like a zip top bag, and would get them. And now they only have like the smaller, like not like a sharing size, M&M thing, but they're a little bit bigger than that. And I've only had one of those this season so far. So if anybody's looking for any Christmas gift ideas, there you go. Holiday minute M&Ms. That's it. But we'd love to hear from you and your favorite holiday foods. If you are hopping on, would love to hear from you and what's going on in your world. Let me know you're watching. Would love to have you share this, like it, subscribe, etc., etc. As always, you can find us, connect with us if you want over at travelmationteamrogers.com with Tanya or myself. It will send me an email, but if you would rather talk to Tanya, I can definitely pass that information along to her if you would rather connect with her as well. I want to brag on her for a little bit. She has been kind of on a roll with bookings and new business lately, especially with some Disney things. Excited to see that growth with her and see her own kind of book, even though it kind of comes back into the same pot, so to speak, at the end of the day. She's trying to make herself, more of an agent in her own right, which, I absolutely support. I'm looking forward to that. Also, if you are new to Travel Tips Tuesday, or you want to share this with somebody, you're wondering, okay, this is live this week, but what about next time? I don't, how do I listen to this on podcast? Go to our linktree.com/Travel Tips Tuesday, and check that out. This is where you can find all our links to our live streams that you can be found right here on my personal page, on the official Travel Tips Tuesday podcast page on Facebook, as well as YouTube on Travel Tips Tuesday as well. So want to make sure that you all are able to connect with us. You have other questions about that, feel free to let us know. And again, if you're hopping on, we'd love to know that you're here. Please say hello in the comments and feel free to share this where you may be. So again, back to our show topic. This is not our question of the day, but our show topic. There you go. Where's Tanya? It looks like we may have some people that are beginning to answer our question of the day in a couple of spots, and we'll get to that if we have some feedback that comes in there. So we're going to take a look at some Disney news, and since it's been a couple of weeks, what's today, the 13th. This is technically our first show in the month of November, and a few things have happened since then that I want to fill you all in on if you have not heard about them. That not necessarily earth shattering, but things that may be of interest to you, especially our Disney files out there. So for the past 25 years, Disney Cruise Line has been doing their thing. They're actually about to launch into sort of a season of celebration to celebrate their 25th anniversary, which is pretty cool. They just received the Cruise Critic editor's pick for 2022 of the best cruise line for families in the Caribbean, which is pretty cool. So Disney, definitely comes at kind of a premium, not just price point, but also experience. You're going to see, do, and experience a lot of things, a level of service that you may not get in other cruise lines. One of the big differences with Disney Cruise Line versus a lot of mainstream cruise lines is that Disney Cruise Line ships do not have casinos on board. Which is actually kind of funny, because if you've been keeping up with cruise news in the past few months, there's this cruise ship, and there's a name for it. I can't remember what it's called, but this cruise ship that Disney ended up buying that was like 75%, 80 something percent complete. And there's this massive casino like that was laid out inside of it. And Disney has bought this, and they don't have casinos in their other ships. So, we're speculating what's going to go in that space. What is Disney going to do? And this is a ship that's is kind of marketed as the largest cruise ship in the world, or going to be anyway. And the company that did own it was kind of looking to sell it and everything. And it's primarily going to focus, from what we understand now, on the Asian market. It does not have a name yet, a Disney name as it is per se, but hopefully be some pretty cool things that are going to come out from it. So it's going to be taken over to Disney's shipyard that they normally work with, and we'll hopefully find out some more as we move forward. So again, thank you for joining us. If you're just now hopping on, appreciate you joining us tonight. Tanya's not here. She's on a cruise ship in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico right now. So she's been having a lot of fun. They were actually in the Bahamas today. So it's pretty fun. So we're kind of scrolling up. I'm double checking to make sure I did not miss anything. Oh, this is pretty important. So if you are a Disney Cruise Line person, speaking of which, there are, so Monday, actually this week, so yesterday, Platinum Castaway Club members, Golden Oak and Club 33, and then as of today, Gold Castaway Club members, and then tomorrow Silver, and then on Thursday, the 15th of this week, the first few sailings for 2024. So about that first quarter of 2024 for voyages that are sailing from Texas, Louisiana, California, as well as all the home ports in the Sunshine State of Florida. You'll be able to book those Disney cruises for the first part of 2024. So hard to believe we're already dipping our toe into 2024, and I was even getting cruise notifications today for some brands for 2025, which is pretty neat. So the cruise game is hot, y'all. Like, I'm not joking. The vast majority of my time recently has been spent working on cruises. It is back. The demand is there, and people are wanting to get on board some amazing ships and make some incredible memories along the way. So, Tanya herself being on one now is kind of a key example of that. And again, we're going to talk more cruising next week, but it makes a fantastic vacation. And I was just chatting with somebody that brought this up on their own without me prompting, though I've said this before, that cruising is a great opportunity to see a lot of different places, maybe 2-3 different other countries that you may not have a chance to otherwise visit. Will you get the full cultural immersion experience? No, probably not. You may end up only parking yourself in a beach chair. But if you do want to experience a little bit of another culture, maybe just a taste, literally, cruising is a great option for you. So love cruising, big fan of it, and can't wait to get on my next cruise, whatever that may be. Have no plans. I don't think Tanya has any plans right now to be on another ship. But I will be in Walt Disney World next month for a couple of things, the marathon weekend and also the Travelmation retreat that's coming up. So super excited about that at the end of May or end of January, excuse me, for the Travelmation retreat. And we'll have, I think, 500-600 agents, something there like that. And about 200 or so of them will be there for the first time. We'll be camping out over at not literally, but that's where, over at the Contemporary Resort, at Disney's Contemporary Resort, for most of our kind of group activities. We'll be spending a little bit of time in Universal and over at Disney Springs for a little bit for a few things. So excited to see what that experience is going to bring. We had a big meeting about that Monday night online that I have not had a chance to catch up with. Actually, no, yeah, Monday night, last night. So my rhythm of life is completely thrown off right now because I've been focused really more so on kid things and keeping them alive and that kind of thing. So is what it is. But cruise news, rocking and rolling. Lot of great things coming along in the cruise industry that we're very excited about and looking forward to more things that are coming. Another big piece of Disney news as of, let's see, when was this? This is a little bit about Genie Plus. So this was, let's see here. Disney for Disney Genie Plus. So this is as of December the 9th. So just a few days ago, guests can now modify Disney Genie Plus Lightning Lane selections, which is great because you used to not be able to do that. And it was like you lock it in, that's the way it is, and tough cookies. You can't switch, right? But now there's a little bit of flexibility. And, I don't know if this is something that came as a result of Bob Iger or something that they were already working on, because we know there have been a decent amount of criticisms along the way of Genie Plus and some of the things that needed to happen to improve the guest experience at Walt Disney World. And improving Genie Plus was definitely one of them. There are a lot of people that still say, let's just cut the cord with Genie Plus, go back to the old Fast Pass Plus system and go with it, dining, 180 days out, whatever. So let's just go back to that, keep things the way they were, and move on with life. But being able to modify the Disney Genie Plus Lightning Link selections is a pretty big deal. That's awesome to be able to have that flexibility now, and I'm excited about that. So moving onward, a few different things kind of happening in Disneyland. Or they have some after hours events that are returning in 2023, which is pretty neat. There's some updates on some of the eats and treats for Pixar Day at Sea on Disney Cruise Line, which is awesome. The DuckTales World Showcase Adventure over at Epcot. I keep looking at my watch because I can't remember what the date is. Today's Tuesday. Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. And this is Travel Tips Tuesday if you're just now tuning in. But Disney's DuckTales World Showcase Adventure debuts on December 16th, which is pretty cool. Um, this replaces the old Kim Possible kind of themed adventure where they will go around to the pavilions at Mexico, Norway, China, Germany, Japan, France, and the United Kingdom and have different experiences, sort of different treasures and things that they will complete. There's a mission for each one of these things that will take approximately. Each country has three assignments and one finale. Each mission takes approximately roughly 25 to 30 minutes. So this is something that could easily take you 3+ hours. So let's say 3.5 hours. So great way to see a lot. I like these challenges. I like these experiences for a number of reasons because they help you interact with your surroundings. You're not just breezing through, but they cause you to slow down. Yes, hey Jen, woo, DuckTales, yeah. Perry the Platypus too. That's the one that replaced Kim. Sorry. Every time I I hear the little beep 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 sound, I don't know. I still hear that when I'm in Epcot sometimes. So that's kind of what I was thinking of there. But yeah, so looking forward to the DuckTales theme adventure, kind of bringing back, sort of in some ways, bringing back some Disney properties that's been around for a while, but recently somewhat rebooted. And now, last but not least, where would we be without a little bit of a food update? What's there's a kind of a news bulletin that came out called Disney Eats, What's Cooking at Disney's Boardwalk. And I'm kind of excited about this because due to some extremely generous people, mainly one person in particular that I won't say their name out loud, but someone in the Run Disney community offered to let me stay with them at Disney's Boardwalk Villas for the marathon weekend because I was like this close to just like kind of just canceling and not going, but a few things kind of happen to kind of enable me to go. So we'll see how that goes, but I'll be there and hopefully be able to try some of these treats. Let's see, where is it? Over at the Boardwalk Deli, there are going to be some other kind of additions that are coming there. Also, there's a new coffee shop that's going to be opening soon, the Carousel Coffee. They'll be having a lot of delicious mixed drinks. I'm actually going to share this on screen. Give me just a second here. Normally, Tanya is like here to make fun of me while I do this and fill in the time here. So, yeah, so they're going to have some mixed coffee drinks, Frappuccino style, beverages, crafted. So these are going to feature artisan, as it says right here, artisan roasted Joffrey's coffee in its yummy sips, which I don't know why. Just kind of makes me giggle a little bit. But it also says here in the coming weeks, guests can expect to see the full menu. But they've got a few items they want to share early. The Carousel Coffee will be serving a dark cherry mocha frozen blended coffee. Now, I don't know about you. Our question of the day, all right, I'm just going to put this up here. Our question of the day is, what is your favorite holiday food? Right. A lot of people associate cherry and chocolates and cherries with different holiday things. I don't like cherries. I do not. As a kid, like I kind of did, but I can't do that flavor. Like, I don't know if it's like some weird medicine or something I got as a kid. I'm not really sure. But I'm not really the biggest fan of that. But what I am a biggest fan of is the Nitro Cold Brew coffee. This very smooth, dark roasted cold brew infused with nitro, which is great. So cold brew is amazing. Just so good. If you don't like drink coffee, I'll pray for you. But just know that, yeah, Mimi's apple pie. We're getting there. If you don't drink cold brew coffee, just know this about cold brew is that typically it has a little bit more caffeine in it than coffee that has been like either French pressed or drip brewed or whatever used, brewed with hot water, as opposed to cold. It's just a longer process, extracts more of the flavors out of it, and there's even more caffeine in cold brew coffee typically than a like regular hot brewed coffee beverage. And nitro cold brew even takes it up another level, which is pretty cool. So excited about that. Again, show topic, not question of the day, is where's Tanya? So for those tea lovers out there, Carousel Coffee also has some options for you. The pomegranate green tea lemonade, that actually sounds really, really good. Could definitely think I could go for that. Excited about that. There's some other treats that are coming. The crunchy raspberry Danish. That looks delicious. Don't like raspberries very much, but that actually looks quite tasty. Excited about that. They also have some other excuse me, classic treats. The vintage mini sugar cookies, banana bread, croissants, blueberries. I've had the croissants from there before. They are quite delicious. Blueberry muffin, chocolate muffin, crumb cake, bagels, etc., etc. So, and of course, the old Mickey brownies. Mickey brownies. Something about those. They're just good, right? They're pretty solid. So, let's see here. I'm actually going to check something real quick. We're rolling live. I'm getting a signal that Wi-Fi may be a little off. So if the signal is being kind of weird for you, let me know. If it's okay. You can let me know that too if you're watching live here as we're talking. So supposedly it says it's good. So I'm doing the old speed test and we should be okay. So a few other things to kind of mention here along the way. In addition, there is also the cake bake shop that is opening in the old ESPN restaurant, ESPN zone space there on the boardwalk. That has been shuttered for quite some time, and they're finally putting something new in it, which is great. The boardwalk is kind of, we talk about Epcot itself sort of been in a perpetual state of destruction or construction, however you want to look at it. But the boardwalk itself it's almost harder to notice because all the buildings are enclosed for the most part, the places that you would go in and do things, but they are beginning to reopen or open anew a lot of these fantastic places like the cake shop and like some of the other places that we've talked about tonight. And it's not just like a place where you go and like get cakes. You can get cookies there, macarons, brownies, dessert bars, pies. Hope they have a key lime pie. Big key lime pie fan. Again, Christmas present ideas if you're listening. Cheesecakes and also addition to handmade cakes as well. So pretty excited about that. Seems like a fun place to go in just to kind of breathe in the smells a little bit. It's kind of funny like where this is because the marathon course in half marathon typically will finish down the boardwalk, and like one of the last things that you do before you like re-enter Epcot, like when the last mile to half mile of the race course is, you will go right by this place. So would not be surprised if I see some people running by if it's open in January, grabbing a cookie or something on the way. I mean, they did that at the Margarita stand in Mexico and Epcot and whatever. So hope you all enjoyed that. A little bit of Disney food news updates for you. So where's Tanya? What's going on with her, right? Again, she's on the Scarlet Lady right now with one of our awesome Travelmation friends, Jody, who is from Georgia, and we've kind of gotten to know her over the past few years and her kids. Really awesome person. Enjoy hanging out with her. So shout out to them. If y'all are watching, you're probably not. You're probably doing something much more entertaining and worth your while than this. No, I'm just kidding. Was hoping to bring Tanya on live, but just didn't work out. But we'll have here in person. I asked her, I'm like, what FaceTimed her earlier. What is your most like? What's your I don't know, your most favorite thing so far about the cruise? And you'll never guess what she said. You'll never guess what she said. Any guesses? Hang on, get some comments here. Yeah, I love that she's sailing right now. She needs these things for sure. So, you'll never guess it's food. Yeah, she's in love with food. I asked her the first day, like after she had just had a few things. I'm like, what have you enjoyed? What's been good? She's like, everything. It's all good. All the food is absolutely excellent. Now, we also talked a little bit about this, and we'll probably hit on some of these things next week. Virgin Voyages is a kid-free / adult only, so not kids free, like kids sailing free, but kid free, so no kids, right? 18 and up sailing experience for adults on board. So there are a few more like mature themes for some of the things that they do, but the service is pretty solid. The food's good. The entertainment solid. And they do some kind of crazy things that you won't see typically. They're sort of in very much of a Richard Branson kind of way, are setting a new tone in many ways for the cruise industry. Sort of in some ways, they give you a smaller, almost yacht kind of experience, but on a larger cruise ship level. Like these are not massive, like 5,000 6,000 guest cruise ships at all. I can't remember the exact capacity. They're smaller than that, but they're able to hit a lot of amazing ports. They have some private beaches that they hit also, and now they have two ships in the water. There's another one coming as well. They sail ports in Europe, the Caribbean, Bahamas. So they're a bit all over the place. And she's had a fantastic time. This is a 6th night sailing. They spent a couple of days at sea, or no, 3 days at sea. I think we're in Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, a few days ago, and then today they were in Bimini, Bahamas, at the private beach club for Virgin Voyages, which is pretty cool. So, a lot of great things, coming to talk about, to hear about. If you are looking for a more unique adult-only cruising experience, would definitely consider Virgin Voyages. And I would send all your questions to Tanya. Like, I love talking about all the things, but like Virgin Voyages, that's her thing. She understands it, works with it more than I do. And if you ask me about it, I'm going to send you her direction and she'll be able to tell you all the things. And one of the really cool things I do like about it. So I've been in their systems, I've done the trainings, I've done all their different things, and been playing around their system some. Their pricing is pretty competitive. Related to a lot of the other cruise lines. So it's not that it's a condensed, more luxury, like top end experience. I mean, you kind of get that feel from, some of the things I'm reading and understanding, and we'll talk Tanya about it next week. But it looks like to me that you will get a lot of bang for your buck, and it'll be a great experience along the way. They have options for groups there as well. So if you're looking to do something with more than one person, definitely check out Virgin Voyages. So, to answer our question for the day, I'm going to check the personal feed. I don't think we've got a lot of response over there, but what is your favorite holiday food? If you're on right now, would love your comments in here. Let me know what your favorite holiday food is, because we all have different answers. It may not be grandma's pumpkin pie. It might be like Jen over here. It could be, going back. Here we go, right screen. Could be my Mimi's apple pie. So I don't had a Mimi, I had a mama, because we're in the South, so we have Meemaws and Mamas. No, we don't have meat. Well, I guess some people have Mimis, but I had a Mama or Meemaw, as it were. So pies, definitely. I mean, I think about when I think about holiday foods. I talked about the holiday mint M&Ms earlier, sort of a candy, but I also think about my dad's mother's cornbread dressing recipe. Something that I was like, look, she was older. Like, I'm like, this is something like when she passes, this is something I want to miss. Every time I make this, every year, most times, at least for Thanksgiving, if not for Christmas, and maybe one other time. So roughly 3 times a year. I'll make this, and we used to call it the 3-day cornbread dressing, because the first time I ever made it by myself was for over 10 years ago, a Thanksgiving. We were up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and bought all the ingredients, got the recipe from my aunt, who sent it to me. So I had all the ingredients, all the things, like I, brought all the onions and celery and all the stuff to make the cornbread up with us. So we had all the ingredients, right? We were good. We were set. And we get into our condo unit. They didn't have a single, like, no slap chop, no chef's knife, like none of that. And this recipe calls for 3 like large yellow onions and an entire bunch of celery to be cut up and diced up. The only thing that they had were steak knives, and not like big steak knives, but like the little tiny cheap ones, that your parents used to have with the wooden handle that have, like, splinters that would fling off of it. So I had to cut all those celeries and all the celery and onions by hand, and it took me like a very, 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 like, whole football games, the entire Macy's Thanksgiving parade, and the Puppy Bowl. All of that went by, and I'm still in there in the kitchen, like, is this really worth this? And trying to do the cornbread and help manage, different things. So think about that experience, but it is very, very good. And even figured out a way, because we have a daughter that has a gluten sensitivity. We even figured out a way to make it gluten free, which is awesome. Not all cornbread, you would think cornbread's corn, right? Not all cornbread is gluten free. A lot of it has a flour additive to it to help kind of bind it together and make it, a little bit more bread like, but there are ways to make it yourself as well, gluten free. And we pick up some stuffing mix from gluten free stuffing mix from Aldi to supplement it. And it's delicious. So tasty. All right. So what is your favorite holiday food? And yeah, Jen says that's right. It was a little, it was a good time. Like it was a memorable, good weekend in ye old Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So um excited about that. But definitely you said it was so classic. Definitely a classic for sure. So let's take a look at the old question of the day. So we got one response, toss up between potato candy. Don't know what that is, and also don't know what this is. No, I do know what this is. Buckeyes. So potato candy or Buckeyes seems like I'm guessing a Midwest thing, maybe. Well, no, she's from Kentucky, so maybe it's I don't know. So a lot of different um, things out there that people love. You know, all the pies, all the things that sort of make the holiday season a lot of ways from what it is because you think about it. And I was gonna wrap up talking about this, and we'll kind of start bringing it home. But the holiday season for me is in a lot of ways about memories, and is about the why behind we travel. So like, why do we travel? Why do we go the places uh, we do? Why do we think back? Like I was talking about my grandmother's, like talking on my hands here, and there's nobody in the room but me, except for the baby monitor on the floor. Make sure boys aren't being crazy. But why do we like do the thing, go back and revisit these things? I mean, I talked about that cornbread dressing that I was making. I probably would have like tossed in the towel. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm never making this ever again. But it's a way that connected me with my dad's mother, who lived, a very long and wonderful life. She had her little quirks along the way. She had this weird rule when we would go to their cottage down in South Alabama growing up. Where we weren't allowed to have ice before lunch. A lot of other like it's just strange things like that, right? In other things, but she's a real sweet lady, and I think about that all the time. Another thing that I like to make around the holiday seasons, and have not made this in quite some time, is homemade chocolate fudge. Homemade chocolate fudge. You're like, oh, anybody do that? Get your own marshmallow cream, cocoa powder, and just stir stuff. That no, not that. This is homemade old fashioned chocolate fudge, and I even discovered way a few years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, just step it up a notch and make it a homemade old fashioned mint chocolate fudge. And that's just dropping like literally this whole batch of fudge and like maybe one drop of a peppermint oil, like food grade peppermint oil. So like doTERRA, something like that. Not all essential oils are food grade, but doTERRA is with some of theirs, and the peppermint oil is. So one drop in there, mint chocolate tastes absolutely amazing. I'm not talking like Andy's mints or Junior's mints, but just that like perfect balance of mint chocolate. Because I've had some like mint chocolate concoctions before that are just like nah, like you can't do it. Like either it's a texture or the mint's too strong or whatever it is. But this is the kind of old fashioned chocolate fudge that as a kid, as an elementary school kid, so 30, 40, well, how old am I? 41 now. So let's say 30 years ago, I'm in the kitchen at my parents' house or even at my grandmother's house in Virginia, um, standing with her around a stock pot, just watching her stir chocolate fudge for 45 minutes straight, never skipping a beat, talking to me, asking me about my favorite things to do, who my friends were, telling me stories about my grandfather, and all those sorts of things. And now, my mom was actually gifted a cookbook with that recipe in it from a bunch of recipes from her mom, and was able to pass down that recipe to me. And now I make that on occasion, and it does take a while. And if you're not careful, like if you don't, add some ingredients at the right time, you don't put the butter in at the right time, it can turn into this giant chocolatey boogery mess and never solidifies right, and you just have a basically a giant tootsie roll in your hands. Pretty much what it ends up being. But absolutely delicious, and I love being able to look back and think about some of those experiences that I've had over the years, and now starting to be able to pass on some of that to my own kids. Our oldest daughter, who's 10, likes to be able to cook herself. Like she'll reheat stuff in the microwave, but she'll even make like cheese quesadillas, and will of course toast stuff. We'll make her own scrambled eggs. So my second oldest daughter, our 8-year-old has become more comfortable making her own scrambled eggs now. So just like teaching these basic skills, like I love making memories in the kitchen. And that is why I love thinking about holiday foods, not just because, oh, holiday food. Yeah. It brings people around the table. It gives you memories. It gives you something uh, to look back on. It's another way to connect with the why behind what you do. Right. So when people travel, what do? You go back to the same places over and over again. Typically, you'll go back and eat at the same places, or you'll shop for groceries the same places because they're comfortable. Sure, right? They're familiar, they're safe. But a lot of times you have memories that are associated with those places. We did the same thing in Gatlinburg. Every time we go to Gatlinburg, we go down the road to the Pigeon Forge or Sevierville, don't quite know where, to the Apple Barn, this beautiful country style restaurant with apple orchard. Outside, and we'll even you'll even see some, like, I think, grapevines and stuff out there too because they sell wine. But wonderful experience. Love the Apple Barn, and absolutely enjoy it. So, oh, it's it or do Run Disney? Yeah, well, or do Run Disney at the same places. There's that, Jen, for sure. Do Run Disney at the same places. Yeah. Like I was saying at Epcot, most of the races at Disney will touch Epcot, which is hilarious because that's the place that's known for some of the best food, the best food out of any of the theme parks, for sure. And just anyway, so yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. That's great. So, thank you all for hopping in tonight. Short little show. Tanya's not here, but again, excited to kind of have her back next week and be able to touch base with her and be able to hear more about her experience. She gets off the cruise ship at 10:30 tomorrow morning. It's one of the interesting things about Virgin. She'll probably tell you about their embarkation and disembarkation times are a little bit different. They let you stay on a little bit longer. Some of their cruises, they have overnight stays in port, and so they let you get on the ships typically a little bit later too. So they want you to enjoy the destinations where you go. So can't wait to hear more about that. That's all I'll say about that for now. But thank you all for joining me. It's been a while since I've done a solo episode of Travel Tips Tuesday. I think Tanya has made it a lot of what it is today, and I'm very thankful for that. Can't wait to have her back home. So thank you again for joining us for Travel Tips Tuesday for today, December the 13th, 2022. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.